What is up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here to educate you on health, fitness, social well-being, and this is episode 2 of Overcome. In the last episode, you guys saw me take you through my intensity, squat, and deadlift focused day. This time around, I'm taking you through my higher volume focused squat and deadlift day. Now, before I do that, I kind of want to give you guys kind of like a more in-depth look into like what my current programming is looking like, as well as what I'm having to do outside of the gym in order to make this programming work. So you guys know what my days are kind of set up like. My intensity-based days are set up exactly pretty much the same, and my volume-based days are set up pretty much exactly the same. As far as like, you know, what I'm doing with squats is very similar to what I'm doing with the bench press, and then what I'm doing on my volume days for squats and deadlifts is similar to what I'm doing with the bench press on my volume-based days. And I'll still be taking you through each of those days, but it's kind of a breakdown. You guys know from last week already, and I actually have clips show up so you can see how I did this most current week. But pretty much on my intensity squat and deadlift focus day for squats, I work up to a double at a specific RPE, whether it's 7 or 8. Last week was 7, this past week it was 8. So I work up to a double at RPE 8. Then after that, I have 2 back down sets of 2 with 8% less than what I did for my top set. So I just take my top set, do that times 92%, and that's what I do for 2 sets of 2 for my back down work. And then after that, I have my specific percentage-based back down work, which is a percentage of my actual, like, you know, 1 rep max for 3 sets of 3. So that's what it looks like for my lower body day as far as the squats, and it's the same thing that I do on my upper body days when I'm focused on the bench press. It's the same format where I'll work up to, like, you know, a top set of 2, then 2 back down sets of 2 with the percentage of my top set, and then 3 back down sets of 3 with the percentage of my 1 rep max. And then you guys will see, like, you know, all the accessory work and stuff that I do as I show you each individual day. But that's what the intensity days are set up like as far as the squat and the bench press. Now, for the deadlift, it's a pretty straightforward linear system. I work up to a single at a specific RPE. Last week was RPE 5, this week was RPE 6. And after that, I have 3 back down sets of 2 with a certain percentage of my max, which increases a little bit each week. So that's gonna start at RPE 5, and by week 4, it's gonna be an RPE 8. So the deadlift on my intensity work is pretty linear in nature as far as how I'm progressing on it. Now, for the volume-based days, which I'll be taking you guys through today, it's a little bit different. What it is last week, it started with a top set of 6, and then I would have 3 back down sets of 6 with about 10% less of whatever I did for the top set. Well, today, it's gonna be a top set of 5, and then 3 back down sets of 5 with same thing, 10% less of whatever I do for my top set for both my squats and for my sumo deadlifts. I'm still doing sumo deadlifts on this day, just because it's been a very useful variation for helping me to maintain position better with my conventional, help me to work on back neutrality, all that good stuff that I already talked about in my variation video over why I'm doing the sumo deadlift. So that's what today pretty much looks like, and then that's what my upper body volume day on the bench press looks like. It's a little bit different because I actually start off with a heavy single that you know, progresses by RP each week, but then after that, it's the same thing where I have, you know, a top set of this week will be 5, then 3 back down sets of 5 with 10% less than that, which you guys will see when I actually take you through my upper body days. But that's pretty much what my programming is looking like as of right now. Now, what I'm pretty much having to do, guys, as you may notice, is that this isn't quite as sub-max as usual. It's still sub-max in the sense of I'm not pushing like a bunch of RP 9s and 10s. It's pretty much like I'm not going as low as RP 5s and 6s this time around. It's pretty much more focused on, like, you know, RPs like 7 to 8s, depending on what the movement is. And, you know, these couple of weeks, for example, my intensity days, I'm working up to top sets of 2 doubles. But then on my last 2 weeks of this block, I'll actually be working up to singles on my intensity days. So then instead of, you know, working up to a double, then doing a 2x2 back down set based off that, I'll work up to a single and then do a 2x1 1 back down set based upon that on the intensity days, whereas the volume days will keep progressing as they have been. So this week, you know, it's a top set of 5, 3 back down sets of 5 with 10% less. Next week will be a top set of 4, 3 back down sets of 4 with 10% less. And then that final week will be a top set of 3 and 3 back down sets of 3. So we're really pushing the intensity this time around while still keeping the volume relatively high. So it's a lot of total workload. Even though we're trying to keep exertion relatively low, we're really pushing the intensity and the volume. And we're pretty much doing this just to kind of make up for all the setbacks that I dealt with during this prep beforehand, which is the whole point of this Overcome series. If you guys saw episode 1, is kind of overcoming all those setbacks that I had. But because of that, we're trying to basically raise my fitness very quickly, but I'm having to really manage my fatigue. So in order to do that, I'm pretty much having to make sure that I am on top of my nutrition and on top of my sleep. I'm literally sleeping, guys, anywhere from 9 to 11 hours a night. And then as far as my nutrition, I'm eating anywhere between 3,200 to 3,500 calories. And I'll have like my actual macro breakdowns on screen so you guys can see that. But I'm having to hit that every single day, making sure I'm staying between that 32 to 3,500 every single day, making sure I'm hitting that 9 to 11 hours of sleep every single day. And a lot of you are probably wondering, like, bro, that's almost like half your day. How are you actually able to like make sure you ensure that much sleep? And I will talk to you guys more about that when we actually get to the gym, because it's kind of getting late. So let's get overhead. Let's go ahead and get over to the gym. All right, guys. So I unfortunately did not get to kind of like, talk to you between sets like I planned to. I tried to, but Metroflex is just not the type of gym where you like can really talk. It's just really loud. You go there, like you can talk to other people, but recording's really hard, even with the mic on my camera. So I just went in there, got it done, and everything felt really, really good today. Like, so check this out. So I'm currently walking around like 164, 165 right now. Well, I was chilling at 158 for so long, I was able to have my belt on the tighter notch for both my squats and my deadlifts. But Saturday, I actually put it one notch looser for my conventional deadlifts, and it made getting to position a whole lot easier, and I was still able to brace properly against it. So today, just to kind of test it out, I left it on that looser notch for both my squats and my sumos. Now, usually I can have it one tighter, even if my conventional is one notch looser, just because you're more upright when you're squatting or doing a sumo deadlift compared to conventional. But keeping on the looser setting felt so good. I was able to get into position like a lot easier both for my sumo and my squats. I didn't feel like I was having to fight into position and feeling all this pain when I was hitting depth. So I guess your boy getting a little bit thicker, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, all I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about as far as like how I'm able to get, the 9 to 11 hours of sleep each night. Guys, it all comes down to scheduling and discipline. When I was in California for that month with Brendan and Kristen, we were on a very strict schedule. We pretty much, our day would start around like, 9 in the morning. We take care of our client calls. Then we had a certain amount of time during the middle of the day where we would go train, record, edit our videos, and then towards the evening, take care of our evening calls. So it was a pretty structured schedule. So all I did when I came back home was pretty much keep to that schedule. The cool thing is Texas time is like 2 hours ahead of Cali time. So my days that would have started like 9 in the morning, since that's the earliest I pretty much start my day, now started like 11 a.m. So long as I'm able to like, on days where I have to get up earlier, get in bed a little bit earlier, or if it's a day where my day doesn't start till a little bit later, I'm easily able to get that like 9 to 11 hours of sleep. Now, it does mean the rest of my day has to be very well structured for me to have time to do everything I need to as far as client calls, workouts, editing videos. So it pretty much means that like if my friends want to do something like, last minute, or my family needs me to do something like last minute, I oftentimes am not able to do that. I have to be, have some time in advance to like set time aside to do things. Even if something as simple as like, chilling and watching Netflix with my girl, I have to make sure that, hey, this is the time that we set to do this, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get, as much sleep as what I'd like. And I'm only doing this leading up until my meet. Then I can be a little bit more relaxed in my sleep. But what it comes down to, guys, is it doesn't matter if you're in college, or if you have a 9 to 5, or if you're in college and working a job. Keep in mind, you guys already know if you've been with the channel long enough that when I was in college, my day started around like 5, 6 in the morning. It didn't until midnight, because I was working 4 jobs, taking 13, 15 hours of classes a semester. And I'm not saying that to boast, but it comes down to, what your weekly schedule is like. Unless you're like someone that maybe you have kids and things are kind of sporadic, or maybe you work a job where things are like, kind of hectic, in which case, obviously, you have to prioritize your job. You definitely should prioritize your kids. If any of you ask like, how can I maximize my gains and prioritize my kids? It's not going to happen. But take whatever hand you're dealt and make the most of it. You know what your schedule's like from week to week, so capitalize on things. Make sure you're getting a good amount of sleep. Make sure you're planning out, maybe when you eat your meals. There's so often, guys, like we talked about, I talked about with Brendan, the whole like, fatigue recovery series. People don't cover the basics. They want to do all this manipulation of their programming and try this special diet and stuff like that when they aren't even doing something as simple as getting enough sleep. So for me, for the next 9 weeks leading up to my meet, this is my priority, my training. And because, I'm self-employed, through, my coaching and the YouTube and everything like that, I have a little bit more freedom in my schedule, so I'm able to do that. You may not be able to get 9 to 11 hours of sleep a night, but what can you maximize? Can you make sure you get 7 to 8? And if so, are you getting that? Are you only getting 6 to 5 because you're not scheduling things out? You're staying up a little bit later than what you should be, or waking up a little bit earlier than what you have to because you're not planning your day out correctly. That's how I'm able to do it. Like, I've gotten so many questions like on my Instagram story when I was talking about this, about like, yo, bro, that's a long time to be sleeping. Like, how do you do it? It's like, I plan it out and I'm prioritizing it. And I have to, guys. In order to make sure that my fitness keeps going up, but I'm managing that fatigue to where it's not spiraling out of control, I have to be on top of my eating and have to be on top of my sleeping. As you guys can see, it's paying off. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Like I said, in the future, I'll try to make sure that my Overcome episodes are like filmed at like POD or a gym where I can actually talk to you guys, just so it's more like, training and talking and not so much training then talking. But that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If you're not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what I can do to get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch y'all later.